From the majestic white lion to the rarest bird on Earth, photographed for the first time in human history, here are 10 of the rarest animals still living on Earth today. Number 10. The majestic white lion. At a lion sanctuary in South Africa, there is one of the rarest white lions in the world. His name is Moya, and he's about 6 years old. He sports an impressive mane of fluffy white hair that makes him look even more majestic than most fictional cats from things like The Lion King or even Narnia. And while there isn't a lot of information on where exactly he came from, he was recently photographed by professional Simon Needham from Britain, who said he was absolutely shocked by the lion's gorgeous white coat. They aren't technically albinos, but instead have white hair because of a lack of coloration caused by a reduction in pigmentation, not a complete absence of pigmentation. And if you're wondering at this point how a white lion could exist, they are actually more common than you might think. This rare condition causes the lions to appear white and majestic, which is probably why they have been revered as sacred animals by several different African tribes throughout the centuries. Unfortunately, wild white lions have been hunted to near extinction and are only now found in protected areas in specialized animal sanctuaries. It's estimated that there are about 100 white lions in captivity and around 13 that were recently reintroduced into protected wildlife zone. Number 9. The Vaquita. Meet one of the most extraordinary animals in the entire world. The Vaquita is the rarest marine mammal in existence, with only around 10 individuals left living right now as you're watching this video. The Vaquita is literally teetering on the edge of existence. It's a cetacean, which means it's related to whales and dolphins. The first Vaquita wasn't discovered until 1958, and throughout the past 40 or so years, their population has been decimated by illegal fishing operations in the Gulf of California. This is partly because vaquitas hang out very close to the shore in shallow waters. It's been working for them for hundreds of thousands of years, but now their time is almost up. The vaquita itself is a ridiculously adorable animal. They look a lot like miniature dolphins with dark patches around their eyes and lips. They can grow to be about 5 feet long and about 120 pounds, and you'll probably never see one in the wild in your lifetime. I mean, come on, there are only 10 left in the whole world. They could literally be gone tomorrow. Number 8. The Addax. The Addax is the rarest antelope in the world. They are critically endangered, and according to Live Science, there could be as few as 3 remaining in the wild. But don't panic just yet. There are still about 2,000 kept inside zoos and on ranches throughout the world, meaning the Addax could make a heroic comeback in the next few years. The Addax is the type of white antelope with curly horns. Both males and females have spiral horns, with some of the longest being nearly 4 feet long. The Addax also comes complete with natural snowshoes, as their hooves are specially designed to keep the heavy animal from sinking while standing in sand. These beasts used to live all across northern Africa and in parts of the Sahara Desert. They love to be anywhere that's full of sand. This is because they spend almost all of their time stumbling around eating vegetation. The Addax doesn't even need to drink water because it gets all of its hydration it requires through eating grass. Perhaps the most fascinating thing about the Addax is that newborn babies look completely different from adults. The adult Addax is white, while a newborn is a sandy brown colour. This is because they evolved in the desert. Having a newborn baby blend in with the desert sand helps it survive its first couple of years without being eaten by predators. Have you ever heard of an Addax or seen one in a zoo? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Number 7. The South China Tiger. The South China Tiger is often considered to be the rarest tiger in the world. Once upon a time, these ferocious cats roamed through the temperate forests of China, with some scientists even saying that the South China Tiger is the original tiger species from which many others evolved. It's the second smallest tiger in the world. It's fast, it's a keen hunter, and it once fed on the deer and wild boar of the Chinese forests. They're also one of the most well-equipped water hunters of any big cat. The biggest difference in appearance between the South China Tiger and other tigers is that it has visibly thicker stripes that are spaced farther apart, giving it an extremely iconic look. But here's the deal. There hasn't been a South China Tiger seen in the wild for 25 years. They are what is known as functionally extinct. Even though there are a few of them held in cages throughout China and South Africa, they're basically dead in the water. Extinction at this point for the South China tiger is a real possibility, seeing as in the 50s there were about 4,000 of them left in the wild. By the time the Chinese government banned hunting tigers in 1979, the wild population had been dramatically reduced to only around 30. Number 6. Rare yellow albino turtle. One of the rarest turtles ever spotted by human eyes was recently rescued from a rural village pond in India. The turtle is bright yellow, flat, and has been compared to a melted cheeseburger. It was first spotted inside the village pond in West Bengal, and experts believe the rare animal is afflicted with some kind of albinism that, instead of turning the turtle pale white, transforms the turtle into a bright piece of cheese. It's actually known as an Indian flap-shell turtle, which happens to be an insanely rare species of turtle on its own, even without the yellow colouring. According to the report in the Daily Mail, nobody is really sure just how exactly this mutation came to be. It could be a congenital disorder because of a lack of tyrosine pigment, or it could just be a freaky rarity in nature. Turtles are green after all. Because of where the turtle was discovered, it has been given great spiritual significance by the local people. This is because in Hindu mythology, the turtle is extremely important. Not only did Lord Vishnu take the form of a turtle to save the universe, but the turtle also represents the sky with its top shell and the earth with its bottom shell. A golden turtle is the Hindu equivalent of finding the face of Jesus scorched onto your toast. Number 5. The Spotted Cuscus. The common Spotted Cuscus is so rare that you won't find mention of it almost anywhere. There aren't very many pictures online either. It's a type of marsupial, roughly the size of a house cat. It has thick fur and bright red eyes with slits just like snake eyes. All 4 of the marsupial's feet have 5 digits, acting like monkey paws to give it expert mobility high up in the trees. Interestingly enough, even though it's called the Spotted Cuscus, only the males have spots. These animals also change their colour as they reach sexual maturity, and can even be found in an assortment of different colours, just like house cats, from red to white and black to brown. But good luck spotting a Spotted Cuscus. They live in rainforests throughout southern Australia and are extremely difficult for biologists to study. We don't know how many of these animals are left in the wild, or if they migrated from Australia to New Guinea or the other way around, and so far as we're aware, these funky animals eat a strict diet of plants, eggs and nectar. It's also been reported that they sometimes eat their own babies. Number 4. Ruby SeaDragon. Just a couple of years ago, a newly discovered SeaDragon was seen in the wild for the very first time. I'm talking about the ruby SeaDragon, found only in the waters off of southern Australia. These are not to be confused with seahorses. Sea dragons are very different, and for a long time there were only 2 species known by scientists. There was the leafy sea dragon and the common sea dragon. But according to CBC, researchers have just found a 3rd. Experts working with the Scripps Institution of Oceanography and the Western Australian Museum went out into the water to try and find this incredibly rare animal. They had to use a remote underwater camera to go deep beneath the surface, but things were looking pretty bleak. They couldn't find one. It was only until the very last day of the expedition that they finally spotted the ruby sea dragon in its natural habitat. It was the first time one of these animals was recorded on video. The ruby sea dragon is red like a ruby, it's not covered in weird lobes like the leafy sea dragon, and nobody knows anything about it other than where it lives. There could be as few as 5 left in the wild or as many as 5,000. We simply don't know. But what we do know is that there are definitely more animals in the ocean waiting to be discovered. Number 3. Javan rhino. The Javan rhino is the rarest of all living rhino species. According to the International Rhino Foundation, there are only about 74 Javan rhinos left in Indonesia. The only place these majestic animals can be found today is in the Ujung Kulon National Park of Indonesia. Their population is stable, but only because they are guarded by specifically trained rhino protection units. Indonesia has done such a good job of protecting these animals that there hasn't been a single poaching event in over 20 years. What's really amazing is that after just 20 years of being left alone, the rhinos have seemingly crawled out of the grave. The population is slowly increasing. The government and non-profit organisations are working to create a larger, more suitable habitat so they can continue to grow, and things are looking up. But of course, things weren't always looking so great for these rare rhinos. The last Javan rhino living in Vietnam was found dead in 2010 with its horn removed from its body. They've been driven out of every other region except for Indonesia, and it's only because of the government actually working to protect the animals that they've managed to stay alive so long. The Javan rhino has a lifespan of up to 40 years. They're solitary animals in nature and are rarely ever seen. And even though the Javan rhino is such a monstrous beast, it eats mostly grass, with biologists having identified about 300 various species that comprise its diet. Number 2. The rarest bird ever. The South Philippine dwarf kingfisher is the smallest species of forest kingfisher living in the Philippines. It's a striking bird with bright orange feet, a plumage of bright blue and metallic lilac, and it was first discovered just 130 years ago. It also happens to be one of the rarest birds in the world. Because of its behaviour, it has eluded photographers and scientists ever since its discovery. It's almost impossible to see because it perches quietly on branches and moves so fast it's almost invisible. It wasn't until 2020 that the bird was finally photographed and shown to the world, all thanks to Miguel David de Leon, a field biologist who was lucky enough to get a glimpse of the animal and snapped a picture of it. But what's even more amazing is that it took Miguel and his team over 10 years just to get a single photograph. That's how wildly rare this bird is. They were trying to document it nesting and feeding, but it proved almost impossible. It would now take a miracle for someone new to come along and photograph the bird for a second time. We may never see another South Philippine dwarf kingfisher for another 100 years. Number 1. Tonkin snubbed-nosed monkey. The Tonkin snubbed-nosed monkey is also known as Vietnam's painted monkey, and it's one of the most endangered primates in the world. This very strange monkey is found only in a handful of isolated forest patches in northern Vietnam. What really distinguishes this monkey from others is its face. It has such a strange set of facial features that it kind of looks like a frowning old man. It has strange blue skin around its eyes and nose, and a large pink mouth. To be quite honest, it looks like the monkey got into somebody's makeup kit and tried to get itself ready for a date. The most recent estimates place the population of snub-nosed monkeys at around 200. It's the rarest of all 5 snub-nosed species, and was only identified for the first time in 1912. These monkeys live in extended family groups, coming together every night to sleep and feed as a unit. What's really crazy is that the Tonkin snub-nosed monkey was already thought to be extinct until a small population was rediscovered in 1990. Unfortunately, these monkeys have been hunted mercilessly, even though everyone knows they're going extinct. This often happens in impoverished mountain communities, where they sell the body parts of the monkey to be used in ancient traditional medicines. Thanks for watching. Which of these amazing animals is your favourite? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more amazing videos. See you next time.